Perek Lo Yachbor Daf Chav Beis, sponsor the Refuah Shalema for Rina Bas Rachel. The Gemara brings exceptions to the ruling of the Tana Kama, who prohibits non-resident merchants selling merchandise to the townspeople. Number 1. Ezra enacted cosmetic merchants can peddle their merchandise from town to town to ensure a sufficient supply. However, they are prohibited to establish a business there unless they are Bnei Yeshiva, that peddling would distract them from learning. Number 2. Ravina decided non-resident merchants may sell on a market day in the shuk, since many of the customers are also non-residents. Number 3. Rav Kahana decided non-resident wool merchants who sold on credit to the townspeople are permitted to continue selling until they collect their debts. Gemara discusses the cause of Rav Ada bar Ava's death. Rav Dimi brought dried figs to the town of the Exilarch. Rava was instructed to determine whether he was a tzur v'mirabanan, a Torah scholar, deserving preferential treatment over other merchants. He could not answer Rava's student, Rav Ada's question. Rav Ada humiliated him by tapping his shoe with his stick. His dried figs spoiled. Rav Dimi went to Rav Yosef to complain. Consequently, Rav Ada died. Number 1. Rav Yosef incriminated himself because he cursed him, saying, Hashem will not delay avenging Rav Dimi's humiliation. Number 2, Abai incriminated himself because Rav Ada encouraged rabbinical students to learn with Rava rather than with him. Number 3, Rava incriminated himself because when Rav Ada purchased meat, he would demand service before Rava's attendant, slighting Rava's honor. Number 4, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak incriminated himself for his unintentional curse. Once he delayed coming to discuss his lecture for the Kala, reviewing Rava's shir with Rav Papa and Rav Huna Berei Rav Yehoshua. Rav Nachman jokingly alluded to his tardiness by saying, I am waiting for his beer. The Gemara concludes it was his unintentional curse that brought about Rav Ada's death. Now we move on to a new Mishnah. The Mishnah discusses erecting a wall next to a neighbor's wall. The Mishnah states, Misha haya koisloi samuch lekoisel chavero lo yismach lo kosel acher. One whose wall was next to his neighbor's may not place another wall there unless he distances it 4 amos. Apparently, the first wall that fell was closer than 4 amos. The Gemara cannot understand any reason to differentiate between the first and second wall. The Gemara answers by bringing 2 explanations to this statement. Number 1, Rav Yehuda explains, Kosel Acher does not mean a second wall, it means wall other than the neighbor's. Number 2, Rava explains it referring to actually a rebuilt wall. He must distance it 4 amos just as the first wall to allow pedestrians enough space to walk through, compacting the ground and reinforcing each wall. In an old town, Rav applies it only to a garden wall because people do not walk on the inner side. But a courtyard wall where people do walk on the inner side, a neighbor can build his wall within 4 amos. Rav Oshaya claims in a new town where the ground was not compacted, there is no difference between a garden and courtyard wall. The Gemara explains why Rava's reason to compact the ground does not apply to the second law of our Mishnah. It discusses building a wall in front of a neighbor's window. The Mishnah, as explained by a Brisa, states the wall must be 4 amos higher for one not to bend over to peek in, or it must be 4 amos lower for one not to stand on it to peek in. Directly opposite must be 4 amos not to darken the house. The Brisa mentions nothing about leaving enough space to compact the ground because the case is where the walls are perpendicular, not parallel to each other, leaving only a small space less than 4 amos inaccessible. Rav Yeba explains a wall in front of a window must be to the side of it a tefach, and the wall must slope at the top. This does not contradict our Mishnah that states a wall in front of a window must be 4 amos because it refers to a wall on each side of the window that darkens considerably more. A wall must be distanced from a protruding gutter of a slanted roof 4 amos to allow enough space for a ladder to clean it out. Compacting ground is done under the protruding gutter. If you're enjoying Daf 5, please click on the link below and subscribe. Become a sponsor. Thank you.